Welcome to the Tales to Inspire podcast. Before we get started on this episode, I would like to invite you to our community so that you can hear more stories to inspire change within your life and positive change within the systems in which we live. All I want you to do is to click on the subscribe button. Your comments mean the world to us with anything that's resonated with you, and I absolutely love your support. I can't wait to go on this journey alongside you. Thank you so much for subscribing. Let's get into today's episode.
Hi, I'm Raji Sundar, and this is my tale to inspire.
So let's go into your story.
Yeah.
Who are you? Like, what's your name? Where are you from? And let's start from there.
So my name is Raji. I don't know if you're Raji Sundar. I have been living in Manchester for the past 17 years. So I was born in India, and then I came to the UK, London, as a young IT consultant in my early 20s.
And what did you, in India, tell me a little bit about India.
Yeah.
Let's tell about you in India. Did you have any dreams as a child? What was your family background like? Yeah, tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so I was born in a family, we were, not a large family. I had a younger sister, and we traveled a lot. So my dad used to travel quite a lot. He used to change jobs. So from an early age, we had kind of integrated with different cultures. So we kind of, grew up my childhood in a place, Mumbai. And Mumbai is kind of cultural, where everyone from every kind of, walks, states. As you know, India is a large country, and we used to have 22 states. Don't ask me how many states. That wasn't right. So then, you understood different cultures. As a 4-year-old, I spoke 4 languages. And that was a norm, so it was not something, how can you 4-year-old? Because, you have your mother tongue, then you have English, then you go to school, and then your kind of Hindi, and then another local language, Marathi and stuff. So that's the kind of, and then we moved again to different places. So kind of culturally, that was great. So being in different places, understanding and that. But as a family, it was a close-knit family. And but I want to stop here because I just don't want to go on and on.
What dreams did you have as a child?
Oh, okay. The dream, actually, I didn't have dreams. I was very quiet and kind of, quite reflective, so not that many dreams. And the reason also being is my sister, she was the kind of star of the family.
Right.
So I was kind of, I just wanted to get it. I never wanted to kind of bring limelight into the light onto me, never shine. And that was because my sister was she was a superstar. So she was always first, the rank holder. She used to go win prizes and everything. And so for me, I was afraid of failure. So I never attempted anything. So I like to be the quiet one, integrated. So I didn't have that many dreams as a child.
Right. And how did you get into the IT sector and go in that way?
Oh yeah, but then that childhood, and then obviously during the early 90s, and the IT boom had started, and then I was very much interested in I used to go to programming classes and stuff like that. And then this they had just started this master's in computer application, which is quite new at that stage, early 90s. And so I was very, very keen. So by that time, when you say dreams, as a child, I didn't have dreams, but then as I grew, I wanted to be that professional. And we had limited choices. We didn't have this internet world. So it was people our parents had this dream of either doctor or engineer or something. So this was again a professional career. And IT was an upcoming field. So I went into it. I worked very hard. And I enjoyed it. So.
And how did you get to the UK from that? How did you choose to come over to the UK for work, or was it more than work that you decided to come to the UK?
Also, there were other reasons. My husband, I married quite young, so he wanted to do his further kind of specialized to his MRCP, and so he said, he wanted to do. But by the time I was in, TCS, who run the marathon, I was employed by TCS, so they were the top recruiter. To get into TCS was like, getting into kind of in those days like Cambridge and Oxford here. So I got it, and then they were quite keen to send me abroad. So, and at that point in time, I said, where do you want to go? I said UK, and because my husband was doing his MRCP anyway, so I said UK, and that's how came through TCS, and then started my career in London. It's a big shipping company, so that's where kind of we started, and then we moved around quite a lot, and now we are in Manchester, settled here.
So where did your journey go from London to Manchester? Like, tell me a little bit about your story and what you get up to during those years.
Yeah, so the first year was quite tough for us because the thing is, like, we used to live in Kent and travel to London. But because my husband's job was in Kent, and then so I used to do this long commute, and I was getting used to the culture. And in London, so even then it's like £350 a monthly pass to London, and usually it's quite crowded. But then people over the year, I used to travel the same time, and people were so quiet, and so you could hear the newspaper rustling, but no one said a word to other. They never said hello to each other. It was like quite normal.
So different from India as well, right?
From India as well, yeah. Until I read back north, I thought, okay, I thought that was the norm, but then I understood, no, people are friendly, they say hello and everything. And so those things, and then kind of getting used to so many other things. Then also like the family kind of, so we were trying for a kind of family, and then we had kind of struggles with that, and so building our life kind of quite slowly, and we came with just 2 suitcases to this country. And now if you see it'll take, I don't know how, I don't even want it to look into this.
Suitcases.
Yeah, 1,000 suitcases maybe, or they won't even fit in a suitcase. So yeah, life has changed. Amazing. Drastically.
So you have a son, don't you?
Yeah, I do have a son.
Okay.
Yeah, so eventually, but that's just the one child. So he is like now, so about him, he's kind of obviously the one child. You have the full focus on that child, and he's grown up to be a really nice person. He's doing his PhD at in quantum physics at Manchester Uni currently. And and he did his master's in quantum technology and quantum science at UCLA, and so he's come back, so I'm chuffed.
Man, you've got him back in Manchester.
Back in Manchester, and he's at home, but not for too long. So
right. Take advantage. I bet that's wonderful to have your child come back as well. So let's talk about a little bit. Obviously, throughout your journey, you've been a wife, you've been a mother. But it's important that you have your own identity. So doing all of this, and obviously with what you do now, like, how does running and exercise and movement stay with you, or do you completely forget about it during these years and then it come to you? How does the journey where you're at kind of more nowadays connect with who you were and what you were doing?
Life has changed a lot when it's because career, being a mom, wife and everything, but I was career focused, and even throughout the period, so I have changed job, but it was more, so let me go back, I was kind of an IT kind of specialist, and we do a lot of things, but in kind of 2007, so like that's when I thought, it's great, I'm doing all these programming IT, but I thought what's going around in the whole kind of, the setup as a company, how it runs, there's this HR, the finance, and people make the strategy side of things. So I don't know this and I want to know more. So then I took a brave step in 2005 and said, I'm going to do an MBA. And so that was a very difficult step because my child was quite young and I'd been out of academic things for a long time. And also a career, I don't know what will happen after that. And then obviously 2 breadwinners, one saying, stopping and doing something different. But my husband was very supportive. And this dream was there for quite a while, but then he was discussing first, my husband, oh, do you really need this? But then kind of he understood my passion and then said, yeah, go ahead. And so that was quite transformational. And then after my MBA, I got interested in operational side of things. And so I joined Asta, and then kind of I was very fortunate to take a project that delivered like 57 million worth of cost savings, and kind of was trying to streamline the supply chain. So that was a great experience. And then we obviously moved to Manchester, and during those days, banking sector was thriving, and I thought, oh, banking is a great sector. And I was recruited through a talent recruitment program that was going on. I joined HBOS, and 6 months into my kind of thing, everything was going so well, and I was thinking, oh, my dream career, the crunch, the thing happened, and we kind of, we were in a very sorry state, this bank, and then obviously 1 year later, we merged with Lloyd's, and then I was part of this integration journey, which was great. So, but again, there's a transition. So when saying, your career thing focuses, then I wasn't getting much out of it. It was great being part of a big organization and doing stuff and things, but there was never, you're not reaching the core people. You don't know how your project affects. You move from one project to another. You do a celebration and move on. So I wanted more out of this. So then in kind of 2018 said, I'm going to give up this kind of, 9-to-5 job or whatever it is. It doesn't kind of, do it for me. So then I said, I didn't know what. Meanwhile, I had transitioned to kind of a well-being journey. So I don't know what made that change, but I was thinking for health focused. Until then, I was like other moms and thinking, we're going on a holiday, let's do this diet, quick diet, and and things like that. And we were on, and we used to do this. But then something changed. I don't know what. Inside clicked, and then I started this well-being. It started with doing yoga and pranayama, the breathing exercises, well-being, and all that. And meanwhile, and also I started running. So 2015 was a breakthrough for me. So my friend kind of said she's doing this charity 10K run, and she's never run in her life. So she said, okay, I thought I'll support her, because ideally I knew we do 5K, but this is an opportunity. And so we said, but we didn't know anything about running, and we did all these kind of rookie methods of, whatever, our own training methods. But that race day changed my life. So on the race day, when I saw all these people gathered, I'd never seen a race before in my life. And then even this queuing for the Portaloo and the whole atmosphere, people cheering. And then when I crossed the finish line, I said, that's it, I got the running bug. And I never looked back. And so that was kind of my transition, and that ties into what I wanted to do as well. So I kind of thought, so this well-being is a great thing. And then my friends were asking, how did you do? I can see the change and everything. So I thought I'll start a blog or something, and I called it Fabulous 40 Plus. So because I was that over the 40 thing, and then there was everything in there, yoga, wellness, meditation, a little bit of running. And I did kind of, so that was until 2020. And then then I thought, probably I don't have a focus. What was I do a lot of self-reflection, and then I tried and said, what's the one thing that made a profound difference? And that was running. That changed my life. The change, the way I perceive things, my own ability, my own confidence, my social circle, whom I interacted. So why I not focus on that? And that's how I started this Midlife Runners. But it was not a CIC. I was still online. And so, yeah, I'm thinking I'm going on and on, Krish. I think you should stop me at some point.
No, I'm loving it. Please carry on. So in terms of Midlife Runners, it was an organisation online. And what were you doing in Midlife Runners? Were you helping people going out to run? Were you supporting them online? Were you gathering people together? Like what were you doing at that time for Midlife Runners?
It was completely online. Okay. So I started like a simple Couch to 5K, our version of the Couch to 5K plans, and people from all over, especially the States, they were signing up to my plan. And I had my own Facebook group and be doing all this and discussing. They'll ask questions on how do I do this, strength training and everything. So even then, I think it was 2021 that I qualified as an England athletics running coach. Until then, I was doing this. I thought, oh, what great. And I went into different support groups and I was able to answer all those questions and they were really pleased. And oh, well, probably, and I did a lot of research also as well, got into this running, why this works, why it doesn't work, and what do you do when you're over 40. So because I was also experiencing the transition, even though I did my first marathon in 2018 and it went well, but then kind of, the perimenopause and the menopause period hit and I couldn't do what I did like before. So then again, I started kind of looking at people, leaders, what they talk, why this is affecting the science behind it, and then, what are the techniques. So it was almost like, unpaid research work. And the more I got involved in it, this is where kind of I saw, oh, there is a way out of it. And so for those people who are transitioning from that kind of midlife, probably the same running plans and techniques and this, they don't work. So what can I do? And then I trialed and tested. So this is over a period of 2 years. And then I became quite confident that and I created a framework now. This has come out of a lot of trial and kind of tribulations as well. But this works. And end of last year, I said, so I'm there, but it's more online presence. I'm not getting to the people. They don't know me, so my neighbor doesn't know me. They know I'm a runner, the immediate neighbor, but nobody knows. So this idea of then setting up that CIC, I should have done that a couple of years ago, But
so CIC, for people watching or listening, is a community interest company. Yeah. So it's a not-for-profit organisation where essentially everything's in the heart of the community and supporting others, isn't it?
It is supporting the community, yes, that's right.
Amazing. What was the reason you decided to build it as a CIC?
Because anyway, I was not doing it for my profit. This is that's the thing, I wasn't charging, and that was never my intention. My intention was to kind of, bring, the experience that I gained, the well-being. I wanted to pass it on to others and for them to kind of experience that, the high of, what you do, the running. And so so that was never my intention. And as a CIC, obviously, you're not making a profit, but then you can pay yourself. You still earn a living. So that I felt that's the best model, because charity is kind of a different setup. And whereas I can enjoy what I do and be paid, but I don't need to make profit, So that's kind of an ideal setup.
And we've previously talked about this when we met up, and we talked about the CIC, does it work, is it good? But there's so many different ways to do something, isn't there?
Yeah.
And I think that's the beautiful thing. Just a quick question then, who's invited to Midlife Runners? Do they have to be a certain age or a certain gender? Like who can join Midlife Runners?
So even though it says midlife and we presume like 40, 50 age group, so people say, oh, I'm over 40, so I can join 50. But this open to all genders, men and women. I started kind of, when I said Fabulous 40 plus, it was for women, but then the men do need all these kind of, and they need it more than men or women, and they were more kind of willing to experience, do the training and, ask questions. So why exclude men? And so for age, who can come? Anyone who feels this Midlife Runners is for the underdogs. So those who feel that they are not able to do, who have not, been through that kind of, I'm okay, but I can never be there, that kind of attitude, I would say, please knock on my Midlife Runners door and it'll be always open for you. it is open to other people as well. You can do your marathon, you could run several things, but you want kind of a change in plan. You're going through an injury period, then we have plans for you. But the first and foremost, the kind of the most welcome people are those underdogs. And you could be even 30, 35, but you could feel that I'm still I feel like kind of middle age. And then you could be. So today I had I'm doing a project for Bolton Deaf Society. And an 85-year-old walked in, a woman, she said, and she was ready to go. And there was no stopping her. She said, oh, what do I need? What to do? I'm taking my thing. She was a bit late, and so I want to be here, and I want to do it next week. So age is just, we say, okay, this is the age group, 40s, 50s, but really it's open to everyone. And the people who feel that they can't do this, and I'm not good at anything, please knock. We'll take you there and make you feel proud of yourself. That's
I love it, because I love that tagline as well. We're here for the underdogs.
Yeah.
Because I think of running.
Yeah.
You think of first, second, and third place.
Yeah.
You think of marathons, 10-kilometer runs. You don't think of doing it just because you enjoy it.
Yeah.
You think of competition.
Competition, yeah.
But you also think of a lot of younger people.
Yeah.
For some reason, I don't think of midlife or midlife age people or 40, 50, 60-year-old people. They are running, but I don't see them doing it in a community.
Yeah.
So I think it's really, really unique that you've brought this together. So is one of the things that you've brought together the fact that you don't want to have it about competition? Is it more about each person doing it for themselves?
Exactly that. You're spot on. It's not about competition. This is about kind of self-growth. So it's why, people say, oh, I want to get fit, or, I'm approaching age, it's chronic illness, I'm at risk of diabetes, cholesterol, or heart disease. It's great, running. It's the simplest form of exercise. You don't need any skill. I didn't have any skill, I couldn't play tennis or golf. So, for people who don't have any kind of sporting background, it's an easy skill. And so that's physical, so the physical mental well-being, and the sense of, self-worth and self-confidence. This is what I want to highlight. This is kind of a hidden benefit. Most of the runners or athletes or people, who are in sports, they never talk about it, because people always say, oh, physically health, I'm more fit, and as soon as you do your physical act, obviously the endorphins, but those are immediate benefits, the well-being benefits. But beyond that, that is that sense of self-worth. Everyone, every human being, they want to feel good about themselves. If you ask, that's the underline, So even the competing and stuff, this happens because this, I'm better than you, I can do this a little bit better. But you don't have to compete with other person, you compete with yourself. So that it's all about that, your self-worth. If you can do this 1 mile, and then after a month you're doing this 2 miles and 3 miles, and you're walking and you're being consistent, that brings a kind of self-worth, and that triggers. And running is like something, so you always, people want to go on a diet or something, it doesn't happen. But when you do this, you take the step towards the healthier life, you're doing that, then automatically your body auto-tunes. You want to be that healthy, So for me to do this, let me kind of focus on my nutrition, and then you go on your well-being. So that changes your kind of whole, a small trigger, the walk, that 1 mile walk triggers quite a few things. And so, and also social connection. So there's no competition. People come together, they have this social interaction, they enjoy that. So that's great, because that's how I met people outside my kind of community. Because we had we did the same thing, partying with the same people, evening, doing the same things. You never kind of went out. So when I kind of moved out of my community, and so there were not many people looking like me. So now, so first of all, I was nothing athletic, but then my kind of, being like coming from my ethnic background, there were not many. And even now, so when I first did my kind of track run, people were looking, why are you here? Why are you even here? But they were kind of polite, didn't say. But then gradually got used to me, and I've made like friends for life. But then kind of when I did my first marathon, I didn't tell anybody, because I was again, the fear of failure. If I said, and then kind of run leader, he said, we want people, volunteers to sign up. But I said, I can't because I'm running. And then kind of after that, my first marathon, then people started, I could see the respect.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's changed. So there's so many kind of non-competitive benefits, and also I've come up with a journal that says how is running changing your life. That's all about looking at all the other aspects other than your competitive bits. It's not about how the pace. Did I do under 4-hour marathon or 2 hours? It's not. It's about what joy it's bringing. It's asking exploratory questions. And people are really enjoying this, and it's going quite well.
So currently you are a role model, because like you said, there's no one in the space that looks like you,
yeah,
that may be the same age as you,
yeah,
same gender, from the same background,
yeah,
however we want to define it, but you're standing up for what you want to do,
yeah,
right? And I think it's really important that that's out there, that even if there's no one else doing it,
yeah,
you can do it still. Yeah. And you're showing them that they can do it. So you're opening the door for people to then follow in your footsteps.
Yeah.
I want to ask you about a question. How did you feel
when
people questioned you in this space? Like people said, you do a marathon, or you running in this space? Like, how did that make you feel as an individual? Did it make you, you tell me, how did it make you feel?
I was quite disappointed. And the surprise thing is you expect your own community to kind of support you and people from outside, but the people outside, people were quite nice, Oh, you're doing a marathon, well done, yeah, you should do this and this. And they kind of integrated, but your own kind of your friends and family said, why, so, but I kind of, it made me more determined to do things, if you're saying I can't do this or you shouldn't be doing this, and even after you've done this, it looks like not kind of, say it's not, oh, you've done this, so it's not, yours is all about inspiration, but instead of being inspired, they kind of sense of, they get this, I feel that, frustration within themselves, and they still feel there is a gap to be filled, that I can't do this, that's ingrained. And so they can't, so instead of being inspired, they feel like, so kind of, they go into themselves, oh, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? And showing that, okay, anyone can do. So far we are in that comfort space, like, this is not for us. We do things like differently, so we do, we academically, we're good, we got jobs and stuff like that. But, on the health, and we don't even, it's great for us to just watch people doing and then, kind of applaud and do things. But we don't want anyone looking like myself, my neighbor or something, doing this.
It shows their own insecurities.
Insecurity about
right.
that, yeah. Absolutely. So, but I don't care,
I love it.
Yeah.
So in my next question is essentially, imagine I'm a 45-year-old male, and I'm based in Manchester, and I'm looking for something, I want to change my life, my routine, the direction I'm going with my health. So what do you have to offer for me?
Yeah, so what we do is like, so we got a hybrid workshop. So where we bring in people, so it's a one-day workshop. We do, so all my kind of running framework is based on gentle running. So gentle running is heart-based running. So you never kind of, so you're, technically they are kind of split into 5 zones, and you never exceed your zone 2 running. That's your max heart rate. And if you run kind of max heart rate, it's kind of it's very gentle, and it's good for your heart, and then you lose fat. And then if you still want to be, you want to compete and do races, when you do the race, you can still run fast. And then, so that is that principle of, and also 80-20, 80% of the time you run slow as you progress, and then 20% you do speed running, and then strength training, which is an integral part of my framework, or midlife runners framework, because even if you run only 2 times a week, strength training is quite important, because you start losing your muscle mass after 40. So and then run, walk. You never have to kind of, people say, oh, I can't run. You can walk. And so marathoners, they do run walk. And Jeff, this person called Jeff, he's kind of that run walk strategy is being used all over. So under 3-hour marathon use this walk strategy. So that's the running bit in that workshop. So we'll have both a practical element of that, and we'll go behind the science behind it. So we'll have the running, the strength training. So that's the morning session. Afternoon, we'll do more well-being. There's the yoga, then the breathing exercise, because runners, even experienced runners, the breathing exercise, the pranayama, the ancient breathing exercises that were like thousands of years old. So we do those kind of breathing exercises. There are like 10 different exercises which we do that. And then kind of meditation. And so it's all well-being activities. And during that workshop, before that, we do a pre-evaluation. So we'll understand where you are, your stamina, your strength, your goals, where you want to be. And then we send customized plan. So after that, then once the workshop is over, then they are given the customized plan, and then they go onto our high-tech platform, which is where all those plans are visible. There's a chat facility, the poll, you can make friends, where they're geographically located. So the buddying system, you have access to free resources. There'll be kind of master classes, webinars, monthly webinars. So then 24/7 support. So we move on for 10-week period. At the end of 10-week period, again, we come together in workshop, see how discuss progress, and then kind of discuss next steps.
Amazing. So yeah. And you've been, like I saw you on the news. You was on the news, weren't you?
Yeah.
Earlier this year.
Yeah.
And you've been everywhere all over the Northwest, kind of like showing people where you're at right now.
Yeah.
So where do you find yourself with midlife runners right now? Where are you at in terms of an organisation and in terms of where you want to go? Like, where are you at right now?
So I mean, this is kind of progressed very quickly because I set up as a CIC in January, but it's not until March. Like, it's really started, and like in October, I'm looking kind of ahead. This has gone really well for me. So one of my projects is the Bolton Deaf Society. So I was there this afternoon. It's so rewarding. There are kind of it's very difficult, when you kind of you assume so many things, as a way of like, this is how so as they go, I have to say like 3-4 minutes run and 3 minutes. So I usually kind of on my timer, but they can't hear the timer. So, and then we go on the well-being session, meditation, music. Oh no, they can't do this, but we still need to kind of, how do we kind of, so it's a lot of learning. It's a very humbling experience, but they are so motivated. And I've got kind of a lady who's got a learning disability and she's deaf. But then she's so involved and she sees these people doing, and she's onto these exercises she wants to do. So that's one of the project. And in the new year, we're doing something for, I can't reveal, I've got a funding for that, but this is for people, for women who come from domestic violence and abuse. So we're doing a project for them, it's the same type of running workshop. And then there are other projects as well, something planned for the Stockport deprived community. So that's going to be in the new year. And then also I have conducted several well-being workshops, living life to the full, reclaim your life for people coming back from injury. And so that's more well-being side. So there are lots of projects going on. And on the trading side as well, I'm kind of trying to establish relationship with the corporates. And so that's going on. Then there's the membership side. So that will be open to other people as well, other than the funders. So things are quite busy, and I'm looking forward to kind of the next steps, as well as on the product side, I'm releasing a park run journal.
Right.
Okay, so for park runners, and that's kind of will be released in the kind of next couple of weeks.
Wow. So there's lots going on. There's loads going on.
Loads going on.
Oh, wow. Now, I've got a question more about, like, really actually, you know what? I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you, because when we first met, you are one courageous person. So I had done a talk at the University of Manchester, or Manchester Metropolitan University, and essentially you then came up to me afterwards, and essentially there was loads of people I was talking to, and you kind of got in there and you started talking to me. I never met you before, and you're like, right, we need to talk. And then ever since then, we've known each other, and I've been able to support, but you've also supported me and just had that dialogue together. And that was less than a year ago, right? And I think every act that you've taken has taken courage. You know, courage isn't about saving lives or, you know, courage is about taking one step after another against adversity. And you've shown, man, there's been some adversity there for you to do this, including self-doubt, including others doubting yourselves, you know. So, first of all, thank you, not for sharing your story with us, like, thank you for just being uniquely you, Raji. You're amazing. You're an incredible human. I'm so excited to see where this goes.
But if I can say the same kind of same compliments, or even kind of, you know, you are amazing. I've never seen such a young person, you know, because when I made that relationship, like, you know, more than like over 20 years of, you know, age difference, you know, but I can see that so much, that maturity and, you know, and doing so much for social cause at this young age. I wasn't like this, to be sure. Like when, like, you know, my 20s, I was more focused on myself, my career, my, you know, immediate family. Never had this kind of, you know, this vision, this dream, what you're doing. So for me, it's not kind of, I was thinking it's not the age, you know, people who are doing thing differently, and for me you're an inspiration, you know.
Thank you so much. Oh man, I'll have to send that clip to my parents to tell them that. Amazing. So Raji, I've got some quick fire questions, but before the quick fire questions, how do people find out about you and what you're doing?
So they can, my website address is midliferunnersparadise.com, but if you are kind of too lazy, just say Midlife Runners, and then you can go and find all my services are listed. I'm on Instagram, a handle over 40 Run Mentor, and then you can find me on LinkedIn, Midlife Runner CIC Raji Sundar, or you can just email me info@midliferunners.com.
Amazing, and we'll connect all of that, all your information. We'll put it onto your story when we share it. So I've prepared some quick fire questions. So the questions I'm going to ask, it's a little bit of a game. So I'm going to ask a question, and then you've got to quickly answer that question. You don't have to explain your answer. So literally, I'll ask the question, you give an answer, and then on to the next question. Does that sound okay? So, life is about
enjoyment.
I love that. Movement is important because
it's a way of life.
I love that. Okay. Getting old.
It's a privilege.
Oh, that is amazing. True education should
inspire others.
I love that. How much, let's go with this question, what advice would you give to your 30-year-old self?
Explore, be more courageous, and it kind of, I could keep that curiosity open, be more curious.
I love that answer. How much of where you're at right now is because of luck, and how much of it is because of hard work?
So it's neither luck or hard work. It's come with a kind of continuous learning, spending time on oneself and having that self-reflection. So that is the self-reflection journey, and I would advise anybody kind of spend time with yourself, switch off all the media stuff, and then just look where you are and where you want, and also kind of read, do a lot of things. It's not just you're just kind of copying that. You get inspired. It's in you. So I think that self-reflection is where I am now.
That's a great answer. So my last quick fire question is, if there was a government rule, the Raji Sundar law, let's look at it like that, and it was one thing that everyone had to do, what would that rule be and why?
Live and let live.
Live and let live. Oh, I love that. That is so cool. So I guess I'm going to ask you the last two questions that we ask every Tales to Inspire ambassador. So over 150 people I've asked these two questions to. Okay, and the first one of those is, Raji Sundar, what is your definition of the word inspire?
Inspire comes from within. So if you don't have the capacity to be inspired, you won't be inspired with Picasso painting or whatever comes your way. First you have the capacity to be inspired, then everything inspires you. And inspiration is something which triggers a positive action, whatever that action may be.
I love that. And the final question, let's imagine that you get to 105 years old. You're looking back on your life. and you're like, man, I've done everything I wanted in this life. What is the biggest, most proudest impact you want to have achieved during their lifetime?
Right, okay. So this question, I never want to feel like I have achieved my proudest thing. It is, again, continuous learning. Captain Tom, at 100, he achieved something. And so that's so never have that, I have achieved this thing. Keep striving until the last day, until your last breath, you want to achieve something. You've done this, get on to the next. Never rest on your laurels. Never think I've achieved something. So that's my motto.
I love that. Yeah. Raji, thank you so much for being on the Tales to Inspire
And thank you so much for this opportunity, Krish.
Oh, amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching today's episode. If you enjoyed today's episode, then please leave a comment in the comment section below, and we cannot wait to see you for our next episode.